The streets of Chicago are soaked in blood, and every player knows one truth. No one stays on top for long. Tommy Egan's empire is growing, but so is the list of people who want him dead. From the Flynns plotting revenge to the Sampson brothers tearing each other apart, Season 3 of Power Book 4, Force is shaping up to be an all-out bloodbath. But before the bodies hit the floor, we need to ask one question. Who's not making it out alive? When Season 2 ended, Tommy Egan stood at the center of a city ready to explode. He had what he always wanted: control, fear, and money. But as every Power fan knows, the higher you rise, the harder you fall. The Chicago underworld isn't just about business, it's about blood. Every alliance is temporary, every favor comes with a price, and every friend could become a threat by sunrise. Tommy has built his empire through pure determination, but he's also surrounded himself with people who don't forgive, and definitely don't forget. Diamond and Jenard's war has split the CBI into pieces. Diamond wanted peace, a future without bloodshed, but Jenard only saw weakness. Now their rivalry has poisoned the streets, leaving everyone around them vulnerable. The power vacuum they created is sucking in new enemies: the Serbs, the Flynns, and even the Feds, all waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Chicago isn't just a battleground anymore, it's a graveyard in the making. Meanwhile, the Flynn family's empire is collapsing under its own greed. Walter Flynn is gone, but his children are even more dangerous. Claudia, hungry for control, has turned on everyone, even her own brother. Vic, broken and haunted by the death of Gloria, is spiraling. He wants revenge, redemption, or maybe just an end to the pain. Together, they're a ticking time bomb that could explode the moment Tommy crosses them again. And make no mistake, he will cross them. Because Tommy doesn't back down, not for family, not for love, and not for survival. But here's the thing about Tommy. He always believes he can outsmart the game. He thinks he can play every side, make every move, and still come out clean. Yet, Power has always shown us that the game plays everyone. From Ghost to Kanan to Tarek, no one escapes forever. Tommy's got the streets, but he's losing his soul one deal at a time. Every time he wins, someone he cares about dies. Every time he builds something new, blood ends up on his hands. And in Season 3, that blood might finally be his own. The cops are closing in, the feds are watching every deal, his allies are slipping away. And deep down, Tommy knows he's standing in the same spot Ghost once stood: powerful, untouchable, and one step away from destruction. The question isn't if Tommy will fall, it's who will drag him down when he does. Tommy Egan doesn't fear death. He flirts with it. In every corner of Chicago, his name carries both respect and warning. He's the man who walked into a city ruled by cartels, families, and killers, and carved out his own empire from nothing but violence and vision. But power has a cost, and for Tommy, that price has always been blood. He lost Ghost, he lost Liliana. He's buried more friends than enemies, and yet he keeps walking forward like a man possessed. Season 3 isn't about whether Tommy can survive the game, it's about whether the game can survive him. Tommy has become more than a drug lord, he's a myth on the streets. The white boy from New York who came to Chicago and took over. He runs his business with a mix of fear and loyalty, but every boss knows those two can't coexist forever. His crew sees him as unstoppable, but under that cold stare is a man burning from the inside out. He's not chasing money anymore, he's chasing control. Every move he makes, every alliance he forms, is a desperate attempt to fill the void Ghost left behind. Deep down, Tommy isn't just building an empire, he's trying to prove he's not the sidekick anymore. He's the main character in his own tragedy. But even legends have blind spots. Tommy's biggest weakness has never been his enemies, it's his loyalty. He gives trust like a weapon, and when it turns against him, he doesn't step back. He attacks harder, that's what makes him dangerous. But it's also what might kill him. Season 3 hints that Tommy's circle will shrink fast. The people he calls family are either turning their backs or planning their own escape. D-Mac, his nephew, wants to follow in his footsteps, but Tommy knows where that path leads. It's the same dark road that ended every relationship he's ever had. The only thing Tommy's ever loved more than his family is the street, and the street never loves back. Still, Tommy stands tall. He's got the Serbs watching him, the Flynns gunning for him, and the feds waiting for one mistake. But Tommy doesn't hide. He walks right into the storm. That's what separates him from everyone else in power. Ghost played chess, Tommy plays Russian roulette. He doesn't calculate his next 10 moves. He just pulls the trigger and deals with the fallout. That kind of fearlessness makes him powerful, but it also makes him doomed. The more he wins, the more dangerous he becomes to everyone, including himself. Season 3 will test Tommy like never before. The walls are closing in from all sides. The Serbs want revenge for every deal gone wrong. The Flynns want him erased from Chicago. And the cops? They've learned who they're really dealing with. A man who's not afraid to die but refuses to lose. Every scene, every move Tommy makes now feels heavier, more desperate, like a man running out of time. But that's what makes him unstoppable, because when you have nothing left to lose, you stop fearing death. You start becoming it. And that's the truth about Tommy Egan. He isn't just a survivor, he is the storm. He's chaos wrapped in control, loyalty laced with vengeance. If Season 3 is the bloodbath we're expecting, then Tommy won't just be a part of it, he'll be the reason for it. Every death, every betrayal, every explosion in the city will lead back to him. Because whether he dies or lives, Chicago belongs to Tommy now. He's the ghost that haunts the streets, the fire that refuses to burn out. But here's the twist, power always delivers. The moment a king believes he can't die, that's when the crown starts to crack. Tommy's greatest enemy might not be the Flynns or the Serbs. It might be his own reflection, the man who thinks he can outrun fate. Every bullet he fires brings that fate closer. And when it finally catches him, it won't come from the front. It'll come from someone he trusted, someone who's learned the game from watching him. Season 3 won't kill Tommy because of weakness. It'll kill him because he's too strong for too long. The streets don't allow immortals. Power demands balance, and every empire must fall for another to rise. Tommy might survive the season, but something inside him will die long before the finale. Maybe his faith in loyalty, maybe his dream of control, or maybe the last piece of humanity he's been holding on to. In the end, the legend of Tommy Egan isn't about survival, it's about transformation. From soldier to king, from man to myth. He's not just living through the chaos, he is the chaos. And if Season 3 truly brings the bloodbath it promises, Tommy won't walk away clean. He'll walk away alone, covered in the ashes of everyone who ever stood beside him, because that's the price of power. And Tommy's finally running out of people left to pay it. Diamond isn't built like Tommy or Jenard. He's a thinker, a strategist, a man who understands the rules but doesn't always want to play the game. But Chicago doesn't care about reason, it only respects power. The more Diamond tries to hold on to his code, the weaker he looks to the people around him. The men who once followed his word now whisper behind his back, calling him soft, saying prison changed him. Maybe they're right. Maybe the years behind bars didn't just take his time. Maybe they took his edge too. He still carries himself like a king, but in a kingdom full of wolves, mercy is just another word for weakness. The betrayal by Jenard was the wound that never healed. Blood turning against blood is the ultimate curse in the power universe. Jenard didn't just challenge Diamond's authority, he shattered his trust. And when trust dies, revenge becomes the only language left. Diamond has been holding back, pretending to stay calm, but his silence is dangerous. You can see it in his eyes, that slow, simmering rage building up behind the calm surface. When he finally breaks, it won't be clean. It'll be biblical, brother against brother, heart against hate. What makes Diamond's story tragic is that he's still trying to be good in a world that punishes goodness. He doesn't want to kill his brother, but every choice Jenard makes is pushing him toward that inevitable moment. Power has always loved its poetic justice, and nothing screams tragedy louder than a man forced to bury his own blood. Diamond's death, if it comes, won't be quick. It'll be heavy, emotional, symbolic, and drenched in betrayal. Because in Power, the ones who try to do right often pay the highest price. Season 3 might be the chapter where Diamond finally lets go of restraint. He's been playing defense too long, trying to balance peace with control, business with loyalty. But when you live in a city full of snakes, hesitation gets you killed. The man who once believed in rebuilding the community might now have to burn it down just to survive. His moral code is slipping, replaced by something colder. That's what makes him dangerous again, and also doomed. But here's the twist. Diamond's death wouldn't just be another body in the street. It would be a turning point. It would unleash a wave of revenge, changing the balance of power across the city. His fall would harden Tommy even more, drive D-Mac deeper into the game, and push Jenard toward his own destruction. Diamond's life represents the last piece of humanity left in Chicago's drug war. If he dies, the light goes out, and all that's left is chaos. Diamond's story has always been about redemption. He wanted to believe he could escape the system, that he could live clean after everything he's done. But redemption doesn't exist in Power. Every time a character tries to wash off the blood, something drags them right back into the dirt. Diamond knows that now. You can see it in his eyes. That acceptance, that quiet sadness that comes when a man realizes the streets will never let him go. Still, there's a small chance he might not die, at least not in the physical sense. Maybe Season 3 doesn't kill Diamond's body, but kills his soul. Maybe he becomes something he swore he'd never be. A ruthless leader, colder than his brother, dead behind the eyes, but still walking. That would be a different kind of death, one that's even sadder because it proves the streets always win. In the end, Diamond Sampson is the man who wanted peace but was born for war. He's the reflection of what happens when good men get dragged back into the mud. Whether he dies in a hail of bullets or loses himself to the darkness, his fall will echo across Chicago. Because when a man like Diamond breaks, everyone around him bleeds. And that's the kind of heartbreak Power Book 4. Force loves most, not the loud deaths, but the quiet ones, the kind where a man dies standing, still trying to do the right thing while the world burns around him. Jenard Sampson is a man drowning in his own ego. Once the sharp-minded younger brother who dreamed of leading CBY into a new era, he's now the architect of his own downfall. Every move he's made since Season 1 has been a desperate grab for control, a hunger to prove he's smarter, tougher, and colder than Diamond. But power built on insecurity never lasts. Jenard has turned himself into the very kind of monster he used to despise, paranoid, reckless, and surrounded by people who smile in his face but whisper behind his back. Season 3 isn't about whether Jenard will die. It's about how far he'll fall before the streets finally eat him alive. From the beginning, Jenard's story has been one long betrayal wrapped in ambition. He wanted to lead, to make CBI his own, but he didn't understand the cost of leadership. Being a boss isn't about ruling with fear, it's about earning loyalty. And loyalty is the one thing Jenard has never truly had. He uses people like pawns. Jenard's drug habit is the mirror reflecting his collapse. What started as confidence has turned into paranoia. He's lost his edge, his focus, his reason. Every scene with Jenard now feels like watching a time bomb with a short fuse. He's unpredictable, one moment calm, the next swinging between rage and desperation. It's not just his empire that's crumbling, it's his mind. He's haunted by guilt, pride, and the ghost of the brother he betrayed. And deep down, he knows what's coming. Power doesn't forgive traitors, not ever. But here's the twist. Jenard isn't just a villain, he's a reflection of every man in the Power universe who thought they could outsmart fate. He's Ghost without the patience, Tommy without the loyalty, Kanan without the discipline. He's a man who learned all the wrong lessons from the game. That's what makes him tragic. He doesn't realize he's lost until it's too late. The more he fights for control, the deeper he sinks into chaos. Every lie he tells, every friend he kills, every deal he breaks, it's all pushing him toward the inevitable. A death that feels earned, not accidental. Season 3 will likely bring Jenard face to face with the ghosts of his own making. He's surrounded by enemies. Tommy, Diamond, the Serbs, even his own men. Nobody trusts him anymore. He's lost the one thing that makes a leader powerful: belief. And once your people stop believing, your throne turns into a coffin. The only question left is whether Jenard's death will come from an enemy's bullet or from Diamond's hand. Either way, it'll be poetic justice. The brother who thought he could destroy his family will end up destroyed by it. Yet there's something strangely human about Jenard's downfall. For all his arrogance, you can still see flashes of the man he used to be. The younger brother who looked up to Diamond, who wanted more than the streets could offer. But greed changes people. It eats at the soul until there's nothing left but ambition. Jenard doesn't see the blood on his hands anymore. He sees it as proof that he's still in control. But blood never washes off easy in this world. It stains everything: your legacy, your memory, your name. If Power has taught us anything, it's that every character eventually meets the consequences of their choices. For Jenard, that means isolation, paranoia, and a slow spiral toward madness. He's too proud to ask for help, too lost to find redemption, and too deep in the game to walk away. His story isn't one of survival, it's one of self-destruction. By the time the season reaches its breaking point, Jenard won't just be fighting his enemies, he'll be fighting himself. And that's where the beauty of his downfall lies. Power doesn't kill characters just for shock value, it kills them for meaning. Jenard's death, when it comes, will be a message. That greed turns brothers into enemies. That pride can blind even the smartest man. That the streets don't care about your plans, your dreams, or your excuses. They only care about the blood you leave behind. So as the city burns and bodies drop, Jenard's final act might not be one of power. It might be one of regret. Maybe he'll realize too late what he threw away. Maybe he'll see Diamond one last time, and in that look he'll understand that everything he fought for was never worth it. That's the kind of ending Power loves. Poetic, cruel, and unforgettable. Because in this universe you can betray anyone and survive, except yourself.